Welcome back to the Nullified Take channel here on YouTube, where I'm your host Chris and I have the TNT takes for you on reality TV, more specifically competitive reality TV. And I want to talk about a new show that have just come out over in Australia. Australia seems to be the place at the moment for reality TV where they're willing to take risks on brand new shows and brand new concepts. And it has been an exciting time if you're an Australian fan, because we've recently had Million Dollar Island Australia just drop, which I think has been a pretty good show so far. They've taken some risks to go up against the likes of a Survivor, even though it's not airing at exactly the same time. I think that they were trying to get some of that Australian Survivor crowd to come in and watch the show. And it's a new show, it's a new concept. Instead of going back to the US for things that have worked already over in the US and then copying it over in Australia. And I want to talk about the show called Rush, which is also a new show in the Australian reality TV sort of landscape. And it sort of dropped this week. It was very undercover. One of my biggest pet peeves that I have with Australian reality TV networks is that they don't really promote these shows well enough, in my opinion. Like, there was no hype, no really big marketing campaign that sort of let us know that this new show was coming. And I vaguely remember seeing something with David Gannat, who's a former Australian Survivor player. He is seen as one of the legends. So if you're from the US, imagine someone like a Boston Rob getting his own show to host. That's kind of like what happened here with David Gannat becoming the host of Rush. And he does have a great personality. I should also say that this will be a completely spoiler-free chat, so I won't spoil anything for you if you want to go and watch Rush yourself. But I want to talk a little bit about the concept of Rush and should you watch it? Is this a show that somebody that follows this channel and loves competitive reality TV, would you be able to follow it? And the biggest thing that you would compare the show to would be The Amazing Race, because it is a race around the world where they have to go to different countries and they have to compete. But there are some differences to Amazing Race. If you're a fan of Amazing Race, if you love seeing all these different locations that people go to, then you're going to love Rush. But here's a few of the twists, which, I've only watched one episode. I'm going to watch more episodes. And especially if people comment on this and if they spam me that they want me to cover the show on the channel, I could do a top 5 takes for each of the episodes like I've been doing with Million Dollar Island, if I know that there's going to be enough interest, if people want me to chat about the show in further detail. But the rules of the show basically is that you get blindfolded, you get noise cancelling headphones put over your ears. There might be some music that they play for people while they're sitting there, and then they fly them to a location somewhere in the world. And it could be that they fly them in the middle of a festival going on in Brazil, which just so happens to be the first location that they do go to. And then they take the blindfold off, they take their headphones off, and they tell them that they have to go and find a certain clue. And what I like about this is that there are different teams, 3 teams of 4 players each. There's 12 contestants, and these players don't know each other. So one of the things that I think I've always been a fan of have been those seasons where they have paired people up on The Amazing Race and they don't know each other. For instance, if I had to go play a reality TV show with my brother, I would know that if there was a roadblock where somebody had to build something, that would be my brother. He does that for a living and he's really good at that. But if it was something with numbers, then I would take over, and my brother wouldn't have the same strengths that I have, similar to how I don't have the same strengths he has. But on the show, because you don't know these people, they're strangers, and they all have various levels of experience when it comes to having traveled before, they're going to have to learn on the fly what different people bring to the table. And they have to work with these people. They have to get to the first roadblock, meet David Gannat, and then it almost has like a 007 Mission Impossible vibe to it, because they get like a file on what they have to go and do next. What's the next challenge that they have to go to? And they have to travel then to, after that challenge, to the exit zone. And the last team that arrives in the exit zone ends up having to vote somebody out of the game. So there's a few different elements to this, right? Because now the social game also becomes important. How good of a team player you are, how good you get along with others can also be the difference between you going on in the race and falling out. So I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. I like the freshness of this. I like that Australian reality TV networks are now sort of taking a little bit of a risk with more of these kinds of shows going out there. So if you're a fan of Survivor, Big Brother, or even The Amazing Race, I think you'll love Rush. I think you should give it a go. If you're not in Australia and you're finding it difficult and you're like, how do I watch this? I'm interested. I'm intrigued by this show. You can actually sign up for Channel 9 with a VPN. I'm not getting sponsored by VPN providers or anything. I use ExpressVPN myself, especially while I'm traveling right now and I'm not at home. I can VPN back to Australia and then watch these different shows for free. They don't charge you if you can get a VPN. So ExpressVPN will work, NordVPN will work. So that's the easiest way to do it. There's also a lot of fan pages and communities out there that do share this. So, if you're really, really struggling to find this, reach out to me. I'm sure I can put you in the right direction. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Rush, the concept of the show. I have a feeling that this could be a very big and exciting reality TV show, and I'm interested to see how it's going to play out because at some point in the game, they're also going to have to go individual. So it's almost like there's a pre-merge section similar to Survivor. And then after they voted enough people out, there is going to be an individual portion to the game. Well, at least that is how they have sort of teased it up until this point. So I'm interested to see how that works out as they get into the end game to win their share of 100,000 Australian dollars. So I had a look at the ratings. The ratings are up at about 300,000 for the first couple of episodes, which is neither bad nor good. You don't expect in Australia for a reality TV show immediately to skyrocket, but again, this is a fresh show. It's everyday Aussies doing this. They've got big personalities. It's not celebrities being out there, which I personally have grown tired of when it comes to some of the Survivor seasons and recent seasons. So I hope that if you live in Australia, I hope you give it a go. You boost those ratings up. And I just wanted to talk about the show. Maybe in the future, I will jump on here and talk about more reality TV as I watch it. I have recently not been watching as much as I would have liked to, but because I've been traveling. But I did take some time to actually watch this show called Rush. So let me know your thoughts if you have watched it. Should I cover it? And catch you guys next time. Bye.